The world is in danger. Scientists are now warning that the danger is from man himself.
Well, how do you do, young Willie McBride?
Police officials have participated in recreating the events. What you're about to see is not a news broadcast.
And rest for a while beneath the warm.
World pollution situation is not critical at the moment. It is as certain as anything can be.
They hide in their palaces, well protected and well paid, while we, the people, on the ground are suffering because of their lies. Tomorrow depends on what we do today. Today, you, me, us, we are making decisions what kind of a country we're going to have tomorrow. Remember, future comes one day at a time, one decision at a time.
The next thing is, does it change enough to interfere with the efficacy of a whole group of monoclonal antibodies that many of you are aware of?
For individuals being immune or having immune to COVID-19. The focus we have is on continuing to prevent spread through social distancing measures, through PPE in workplaces, through various measures of protecting Canadians as we move forward. There is still an awful lot of science being done on the idea of immunity, on protections, which is why we've invested significant amounts of money in.
You are the problem! So I don't know. I mean, maybe a little project for you guys on the weekend. If you're bored, maybe you could consider doing that. Maybe go find whoever your local MP is, your federally elected Liberal MP, send them this tweet, and ask them, how do they reconcile this? What is going on here? Why are we paying for this? Why are we paying these people? Maybe the Prime Minister should know about it. Just
what they've done with the place.
What do you guys
loves cats. Can't get enough of them.
Well, tomorrow marks the start of the NHL season, and in most big cities, Canadians will be able to pack indoor arenas in huge numbers. But as Jamie Strachan tells us, some in Ontario question why rinks can be packed while other businesses cannot.
On an idyllic Thanksgiving Day, a chance to enjoy a patio meal. And with indoor dining limited, patios are keeping some restaurants afloat.
We're not allowing people inside without full vaccine. So we still sit the patio for now, but as soon as that's done, it's going to be like, okay, what do we do?
When they can lie about their COVID questions and still go work in an office with other people, but myself can't go to a freedom rally when I work by myself, surrounded by disinfectant. Like, you got the big box stores and everything's allowed to stay open. Billionaires keep getting richer while the little guy is left to fight for his life. Like, you know, people are getting threatened with jail time. We are told Christmas is canceled, no traditions, but then they bend the rules because they go somewhere where it's allowed on our dime.
We have production, of course, in Manitoba. It's our leading industry.
The science is clear that we need to act now.
Who are you who are so wise in the ways of science?
I was in the airport, guys were asking my ID, and it occurred to me that ID is a strange abbreviation because I is short for I, and then D is short for identification. So it seems to me D is doing most of the legwork on that one.
Less than 10% of the world's population. I think we're against the hypocrisy of assailing our allies because here and there they cling to a colony, while we engage in a conspiracy of silence and never open our mouths about the millions of people enslaved in the Soviet colonies in the satellite nations.
Whatever you want. Or you can show us your antibodies from your natural immunity. Rational. That's not there's a mandate, but a rational application of a mandate. And the really interesting thing is the youth are fighting like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So 18 to 28-year-olds are in the streets by the thousands.
Yeah, you don't see that on CNN.
Vive la liberté is their call. This is, my French is pretty good, and I spoke to a lot of them because I was intrigued. I'm like, young people not asking for more mask wearing? I might understand. They were furious, and their position was, look, you've educated us, rightly, that this thing is not a major risk to us. Now you're mandating us to put something in our body. We may choose to do it, and you can help us make that decision if you think it's good. So, mandating it, no. It's echoes of 1790. I'm telling you, they bring up the same language as 1790. They raise their fist.
And they've got a history of beheading over there. So.
That their policy of accommodation is appeasement, and it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better rev than death, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Could Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world?
Booster shot, mission accomplished. And it is time to stop coddling them, the ones who won't get the damn shot already.
So apparently one of the side effects of getting the booster shot is difficulty in selecting the right eyeglasses.
The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance.
The Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects all Canadians, every one of us, even when it is uncomfortable. This is not about the details or merits of the Khadr case. When the government violates any Canadian's charter rights, we all end up paying for it.
Special formula drives virtually street-free.
The goalpost suddenly moving. This is the framework I've offered in the Terracotta Roadmap, created by my Sustainable Markets Initiative, with nearly 100 specific actions for acceleration. Together, we are working to drive trillions of dollars in support of transition across 10 of the most emitting and polluting industries. They include energy, agriculture, transportation, health systems, and fashion. The reality of today's global supply chains means that industry transition will affect every country and every producer in the world. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the private sector...
Or do a double choice or for the means of other people, of course. Oh, please, give me enough of that crap. Oh, listen, people have to die. Is that what you're saying? Saying that Aaron Rodgers should be taking horse pills and taking advice from Joe Rogan is not a doctor. It's misinformation, and my information is the information. The great divide and conquer, sire. They will never unite. Their plans been working for centuries. Or they starting to catch on. And we will unite eventually.
So I can only urge you, as the world's decision makers, to find practical ways of overcoming differences so we can all get down to work together to rescue this precious planet and save the threatened future of our young people.
Make extra vaccine in the future and have a third or fourth booster shot every month.
They're going to make you do it every 6 months forever. And the definition of fully vaccinated will likely be, have you had an updated shot in the last 6 months? And that's what's going to keep your green passport green, so you can keep doing the things you want. You have to keep getting stuck by the government, whether it's government money,
well,
it's
that's
government
interesting,
medicine.
because she's double vaxxed. She's very proud of it. And but this is what she said earlier.
The data is very clear. As Dr. Walensky said on an earlier briefing today, this is really becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And that means getting vaccinated, you can save yourself.
Okay, so that's a big pharma talking point you just heard from a professional liar, which is the president's press secretary, which everyone knows is there to lie to you. That's what the press secretary...
Conservatives talk a good game about being a party of freedom, but they are mistrustful of the mechanisms that actually ensure those freedoms for Canadians. And that's why they don't celebrate the Charter, whether it was the 25th anniversary or the 30th anniversary last year.
Merriam-Webster, this used to be the definition of vaccine. The definition of vaccine used to be a preparation of killed microorganisms, living attenuated organisms, or living fully virulent organisms that is administered to produce or artificially increase immunity. To produce or increase immunity to a particular disease. They have changed the definition of vaccine. The new definition of vaccine is this: a preparation that is administered as by injection to stimulate the body's immune response against a specific infectious agent or disease, such as an antigenic preparation of a typically inactivated or attenuated pathogenic agent, such as a bacterium or virus.
I beg your pardon. I swallowed wrong. Will be available at approximately...
Go listen to the things they say. They're soulless socialist communists. Took advantage of a dead child from brain cancer to try and get their way. And these people want to run all they want to be in charge of all the things. That's why this is important. That is why I don't concern myself with sports ball anymore. I don't care about video games anymore. I don't care about this shit. These people are monstrous, and they're destroying society. And they're going to make everything worse. For mine, for yours, for everybody. If no one says it, no one tries to stop these people. No one is alerting the public to the fucking absolute nightmare.
The Reagan administration has proposed making airbags or automatic seatbelts mandatory for new cars. Critics urged immediate action. And finally, a federal report today predicted possible catastrophic warming of the Earth by the 1990s with a strong climate change. I'm Jessica Savage in New York. More news later on this NBC station.
The world is in danger. Scientists are now warning that the danger is from man himself. The danger was spelt out at a worldwide conference this summer. Humanity is conducting an experiment whose ultimate consequences could be second only to a global nuclear war.
Suggested that certain countries need to do better on their own human rights, on their own internal challenges. The response has been, well, tell me about the plight of Indigenous people in Canada. I think it's time that we actually stood up and took responsibility for the terrible mistakes of the past and shared at the UN, because quite frankly, what the UN exists for in large part is for countries to share challenges, perspectives, and solutions. And to talk about how we are moving forward on meeting the challenges that we must meet, how we take care of the beam in our own eyes as we engage with others' motes, as we look to continuing to walk the talk on human rights, on equity.
Who are you, who are so wise in the ways of science?
I am Arthur, King of the Britons.
My liege.
Good Sir Knight, will you come with me to Camelot and join us at the round table?
My liege, I would be honored.
Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Abraham Lincoln said those powerful words, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Today, we gotta rise up. Today, we have to stand up. I'm very saddened by the people to my right on the other side of the fence. They're more eager to put a muzzle on their face. They're more eager to bow before the tyranny than to take it up and stand up for freedom. That saddens me. It looks like the mainstream propaganda machinery of Adolf Jason Kenney have done a huge damage to the minds of the young people. We have a solution for that. It's called the truth. I want to challenge you, young people. Google it up. Google it up. Look at the scientists. I spent 4 months among the most powerful, knowledgeable people on this earth. Biologists, scientists, medics are real doctors, not like Hinsha wannabe quack, but real ones. And I'm telling you, they have something very interesting to share with you, but they can't because they're shadow banned, they're deplatformed, there's censorship, just like in Nazi Germany, just like in Soviet Russia and Poland behind the Iron Curtain. Remember that our interest should be in the future because we are going to spend the rest of our lives there. The history is teaching us that those that do not care about our rights today will come back for more tomorrow. See, evil never stops. Cancer and corruption needs to be cut off, not played with. Bully will keep bullying until you say enough. When you say no more, courage is fire, but bullying is just a smoke. There's a lot of smoke around, but not enough courage.
Travel in as little as 4 trips.
The Caribbean.
One pass. The fastest way to earn free travel to Europe or
Away.
Call Continental or Eastern.
No touchdown without it.
If the world pollution situation is not critical at the moment, it is as certain as anything can be that the situation will become increasingly intolerable within a very short time.
Where's Officer Collins? Shut up! I'll paste your ass on my fist. Face, ass. Shut up. I'm sorry, it's just... where am I? Shut up! I told you already! Yeah! Well, shut up!
Young Willie McBride, do you mind if I sit here down by your graveside and rest for a while neath the warm summer sun? I've been walking all day and I'm nearly done.